Hey, Brian from Snake Bites here. You know, this whole episode is going to be about feeding and our techniques of feeding. You know, we feed some stuff live, like ball pythons. We feed a lot of stuff frozen. You know, it just depends on the animal, and we're going to go ahead and show you what we do here and kind of get the take of my crew and how they feel about it.
What's going on here is breeding season is right here, right now. The whole theory behind it is you want to get them bigger and fatter, you know? So when you're feeding them frozen, that's how they get big and fat. That's how you put your meat on them. Depending on the size of the female, it depends on how much she gets. Like this right here is a nice sized female. I'll go ahead and give her a couple large mice. Oh, some of them don't like it because in the wild, they're more prone to eat live. Like this is a live eater. She doesn't even want anything to do with it. Now tomorrow, I gotta go through everything I fed today, and whatever didn't eat frozen, I have to feed live. On average, just on a female day, I've already gone through 1,300 mice thawed out. And the way it's looking, I'm gonna go through some more. It's nothing intentional, but if you take a look, you see a nude mouse. You see a glove which resembles the surface of a nude mouse, and of course I'm over here touching them, so the scent's all over my hands. So the snake itself has no reason to bite you. It doesn't want to bite you. It just thinks you're its food. It smells it. It sees the drawer open. It's coming at you. You know, that snake, if my hand was closer, would have bit me. It's hungry. That's all. You know, there's nothing wrong with these guys. Nothing intentional. They're hungry.
Right now I'm just watering the baby snakes. Try to do that every other week or as needed. Sometimes, you know, when it's a little bit hotter, the water just kind of evaporates a lot faster too. You know, right now it's really quick to water and feed everything just because at this time of the year, you know, a lot of babies are already gone, you know, being sold off at the shows and everything, so makes it faster to do everything.
Okay, so you know what? Fridays are always nuts around here. We got live food coming in. It's a crazy day. One of the worst things is when Harlan comes in. It's all our food and bedding for the animals. We don't have a high-low. Guys are always complaining about having to unload this truck by themselves. But you know what? It's the way it's going, so we're going to go do it right now. Well, hey, it's Friday. It's our big rodent delivery day. We normally have a bunch of medium rats, probably about 500 to 600 more rats than we have. It's just a really light week this week. Now we're putting the empty cages back on the truck. You can kind of get an idea how many rodents we normally go through.
I just feed these normal ball pythons live small mice as opposed to some of the other rooms we have. The colubrid rooms, they usually feed them frozen. Colubrids are usually a little bit more picky than ball pythons. We just toss these mice in here. Snake takes care of them. You usually don't have to worry too much about them. It's a good thing about working with ball pythons.
Yeah, you know, here we are, we're just feeding baby ball pythons, trying to get them raised up, and you know, we're feeding them these live rodents, and I'll be honest with you, you know, I don't really like to feed live if I don't have to. Unfortunately, baby ball pythons really do best feeding on live. It's something that I'm really conflicted about. You know, when I first started breeding reptiles, I almost got out of keeping snakes because I felt so bad for the rodents, but the truth is that I really love snakes, and you know what? This is what snakes eat, and I had to come to the realization that if I wanted to keep snakes, I was going to have to deal with the live rodents. You know, it's part of reality, and it's part of the way that the wild works. Don't get me wrong, you know, it does bother me a lot to see these rodents suffer at all, and that's why we try not to let it happen. And we have a lot of protocols here to where it's as humane as possible for these snakes to feed. But, you know, like I said, some of these snakes, in particular baby ball pythons, they just don't want to eat anything but live food, so we have no choice to do it. Yeah, you know, one of the things that we do here, you know, and me in particular, is I don't use tongs when I feed snakes. And of course I do get bit. You know, every day that I feed on Fridays, I probably get bit 12 or 15 times. And you know, if I use tongs, I probably wouldn't get bit at all. But the truth of the matter is, it's just always been the way I've done it, and I guess I've just, you know, it's hard to teach a new, you know, old dog new tricks, but I always suggest to new keepers that they should use tongs or forceps when they're feeding snakes. Not only is it going to be better for them so that they don't get bit, but it's also probably better for the snake, because you really don't want the snake to bite you if you can avoid it as well. But, you know, it's just the way I've always done it. So there it is, after a long day of feeding thousands of snakes. I hope you guys got an idea of the different techniques. And you know, it's not just opening up a cage and throwing a mouse in. Every snake has its own personality, and we have to figure out what they want so that they're as healthy as possible. So make sure you tune in next time to the next episode of Snake Bites.